So when delivering programs, most people think in a very linear way, but that's not actually how we learn as humans. So what I've done here is broken down what I call growth cycles and how you can best implement these into your program or course to make sure that your clients get the best results. So if you are any sort of consultant, you are in any sort of program, you are offering any sort of mentorship yourself, this is going to be the most important video you watch today. Now, this is how to be an effective consultant, effective mentor, and to actually get results for the people you are working with. Now, most programs you will ever jump on do exactly the same thing. They give you a step-by-step linear pattern, a linear way of doing things. Do this, next week we'll have an hour call, then do this, next week we'll have an hour call, then do this, so on and so forth for the agreed time period. And guess what? You get mediocre results. Okay, that's not how learning works. Learning doesn't work in a 1 hour a week time slot. So if you are building out a program for others and you want them to get amazing results, you need to understand how people actually learn so you can build your program and your delivery around this. Now, I do not see anyone else teaching this. This is the source, okay? I have a background in education as well, so a lot of this comes from there. A lot of these people you see online who are mentors, they're good at selling, they're very good at selling, but they're not good at getting you results. They're really not good at getting you results at all. They know how to get you through the door, then they don't know what to do with you. They just hand you some resources and they're like, maybe we'll do a group call, okay? So this is what works, okay? And I've given this to you for free, so take notes, okay? Take notes and actually implement it. And you can also implement this in your own life as well, and understanding better how working with people actually works. So I like to call these growth cycles. Now, as you're aware, because you should have watched many of my other videos by this point, you understand that once you've built out an offer for your ideal clients, you start with them at point A, certain problems they have, they're on a certain part of their journey, and you get them to point B. Okay, this is their journey, point A to point B. Desired outcome, starting point, where they've got pains and problems. Now, along that journey, there's going to be certain milestones. There's going to be mini transformations on the way. So this here is one big transformation. Let me get the pen out. Yes. So this here is one big transformation, and then these are lots of mini transformations along the way. Let's say 4. Usually between 3 and 5 transformations should be good for a program. If it's more than that, then the program's kind of too obscure. There's too much involved. So I call these growth cycles. Growth cycle 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's the mini transformation along the way. Now, this is how these growth cycles work. So there's a beautiful diagram here that you can look at. Get the pen out again. So this is how a growth cycle works. We start here, okay? We start at the beginning with a new concept, okay? Now, you introduce a new concept. That should say concept. I don't know why it now says X. I must have typed something on a keyboard. Okay, so that should say concept. I should have checked as well. So you introduce a new concept to your clients. The concept is going to challenge their current way of thinking, and it's going to inspire them to take action in a new direction. So you introduce this new concept at stage 1 here. It inspires them and challenges their current way of behaving or current operations that they have in a business, whatever it is. Okay, new concept at this stage here, new information. Now with a fitness offer, this might be like their workout routine, or this might be the new concept of tracking calories, for example. Okay, so this is offer specific. You introduce a new concept that they need to understand and they need to learn to get the results and get that first transformation. Okay, so as you can see here, they're going to have kind of 4 new core concepts introduced to them that they're going to need to take action on. Now, once you've introduced this new concept, the next stage is to connect it to a current problem that they have. So you're giving the new concept context. Okay, the new concept now has context, and you're connecting it to an existing problem. Now you need to help them do this. Okay, they're not going to be able to do this themselves necessarily. So step 1, concept. Step 2, connect it to a problem that they currently have. Okay, and make that very, very clear. Now, connecting that here, that would be with the fitness offer. That would be, you need to track calories because at the moment you're overweight, you're clearly eating too much. So we need to count the calories, okay? And the problem that this is causing is that you're overweight and fat, okay? So concept, connecting it to a problem. Now you need to create with them, you need to co-create an action plan. Concept, connect, create. I call this the C's and T's of consulting, not the X, C's and T's. So this, I don't know why that's turned to an X. Okay, the C's and T's of consulting, okay? Concept, connect, create. And so at this stage, we need to co-create an action plan. So with the fitness offer here, you would perhaps create a custom meal plan, and then you would maybe teach them how to kind of track their own calories. And important at this stage that a lot of people miss out is you need to give your client a certain level of responsibility. So let's dive in here and get some source. So when you're creating this action plan for a client, you want to make sure that they have some responsibility and that they are in this growth zone here. So at the moment when they start working, they're in the comfort zone, they're doing the same things they've always done, and that's keeping them comfortable, but they're not growing. If you give them too much and you tell them to create the action plan, it's all on them, you don't give them any guidance, they're going to go from this comfort zone to this panic zone. When they're in this panic zone, they're not going to take action. When they're in this comfort zone, they're also not going to take action. So we need to move them from the comfort zone to the growth zone, but not too far to the panic zone. Okay, so that's why we co-create an action plan together and we give them a certain level of responsibility. And now this is where your own mentorship skills come in, and you understand on a client per client basis what level of responsibility is going to be suitable for them in order for them to actually take this action and remain in this growth zone, not a panic zone. That's really important that's your discretion, that's your professionalism, your discretion that comes in there. Really, really important. Okay. Now, the other reason that we give them some responsibility with kind of co-creating the action plan, people are much more likely to take action on certain tasks, things that are going to be uncomfortable to do. People are more likely to take action on them if they feel some sense of attachment and that they came up with the ideas somewhat themselves. Okay, so this is why, and I'm sure you've heard me speak about this before, good consultants good mentors, good coaches remove their ego from this process. They understand that it's all about getting results for the people working for them. It's not about, oh, look at me, I'm so smart, I told you to do this, I helped you get results. It's all about them, okay? It's all about being a guide for them and them actually getting results, them taking ownership on what they're doing, which is why you give them responsibility, okay? And present ideas, present possible solutions, and let them kind of guide them to sort of decisions that are going to get them the best results, okay? Because then they're going to want to take action, okay? So if we're using that example of building out a new diet plan, if they came up with the idea of oh, well, I could do it like Taco Tuesdays, but instead of the bread, I could just use more meat. You can be like, yeah, great idea, love that. Okay, so that's a silly example, but you understand that they've come up with something, encourage it, they're going to be more likely to stick to it. If they're more likely to stick to it, they're going to get better results, you're going to get better testimonials, you're going to get more clients, you're going to make more money. Brilliant. Okay, so everyone's a winner, but it's important, a few important concepts there to make sure we're in this growth zone. Okay, we have completed the C's and T's of consulting. If it zooms out, and now we need to come to the T's. So the T's are train, tune, and transform. Let's get the pen out again. Train, tune, and transform. Now, when you train them, so we've gone through this stage here where we've introduced a new concept, we've connected it to an existing problem, and now we've created an action plan. Now we actually need to give them some in-depth training. We need to give them knowledge, and we need to give them processes that mean they're actually going to be able to take persistent, consistent action. Okay, give them knowledge, give them processes. This is where you would do like an hour, 90 minutes masterclass, one-on-one, give them a load of resources. Okay, you really need to train them up here. Okay, this is like an intense training. So that's the source. That's when you really give them the source. Now the next stage is tune. So they've got the concept, they've connected it to a problem, and they've created an action plan, and now they've been trained on how to implement it. So now they actually need time to implement it. You can't rush this stage. This is the most important stage. Okay, the most important stage is them going away on their own, becoming independent with the new skills that you have taught them. Now, you're going to give them all of this knowledge, and this is where most consultants and this is where most programs go wrong. They give you all of the knowledge and they're like, all right, I've given that to you, therefore now you know it and you are able to execute on that knowledge. But whenever you have learned anything in the past, you know that it takes time. It takes you making multiple mistakes before you actually fully understand something. You need to try something, fail, succeed in some areas, but then you get some data back. You're like, well, when I did that, this worked, but this didn't work. Okay, I'll remove this and try this again. Okay, now that's working, but this is loose. Okay, now I need to do this. So that's how people learn, and you need to give time for people to refine, okay, and tune what it is they're doing. Okay, so rebalance as well. So this refining time is really, really important. If your training has been good, they should have all of the tools they need to tune this. And then this is the stage we're going to talk about, kind of what level of support you should be giving at each of these stages in a moment. But this is the stage where they should have independence. And this is why it's important they have some sort of responsibility over what they've and ownership over what you've created, because this way that they're more likely to continue when they're kind of on their own and they're like, do I need to keep doing this? Can't really be bothered. No, they feel they've already got some good momentum behind that and they're more likely to do it. Okay, now after they've retuned it, they've refined it over time, they've got better and better and better. They've now made that transformation. So growth cycle 1 is now complete. Okay, we've introduced a new concept, we connected it to an existing problem that our client had, we co-created an action plan together, we trained them with all the tools, processes and resources they need, we gave them time to tune and refine what it is they're doing, and then from there, through doing that over time, they have now transformed, they have autonomy over what it is they're doing, and they have confidence. Okay, they have confidence in what it is they are doing, and now they don't need you anymore. They've reached a level. Okay, so they started with you on the ladder down here. We have now reached step 2, and they are on step 2. Okay, and they have the confidence and they can do it all without you, which is what we want. We don't want our clients relying on us, otherwise what's the point in them paying us? Okay, so you understand the C's and T's of consulting: concept, connect, create, train, tune, transform. You're getting some amazing stuff here. So I hope you're taking notes. Okay, now, how does this actually look in terms of your own coaching and your own consulting? Okay, now this is another gripe that I have with nearly every program I see, is, like I said, they give you that whole thing of, right, we're going to have a call once a week on this day for 90 minutes, then next week, then next week, then next week, then next week, then next week. Boop, your time's up. And all you've had is like a series of Zoom calls, which are each like one ad. Like, yes, it might work for that person, like that might for the person delivering the program, but that's not actually what's good for you as a client. Okay, that's not actually what is good for the client. They don't operate like that, you know. They need to operate on these growth cycles, which are kind of out of the confines of time. Now, this is how these are set up, and this is how it's set up in my program, and this is why I get amazing results, is because of doing things like this and understanding that people need time to go away, train, implement, then we come back, then we refine, tweak things over time, go away, do this, boom, we've reached a certain level. Okay, come back, now we introduce a new concept. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, there's no point in just dumping like all these other programs do. There's no point just dumping a load of information on people each week and just assuming that because you've info dumped them, okay, that then boom, they understand everything. This is that concept of like just being a book. Like, you read a book once, you don't understand and have fully implemented everything in that book just because you've read a book. It takes time to implement each of the things you're learning from that book. And the same goes here. Why would it be any different from delivering programs? Anyway, so this is how I see this kind of, and this is how I do it in my program here. Okay, so we can see our T's and our C's. So we will introduce a new concept and we'll connect it to an existing problem. We'll usually do that on a coaching call. So we'll usually do that on our first coaching call together. We'll introduce a new concept, go over it, and then we'll link it to particular problems that that particular client is having themselves. So it's all bespoke. Okay, now they go away and I kind of give them, the way I tend to do it is I give them, after we've kind of done this stage, I give them some tasks about how to kind of actually implement this, certain actions they might take, and then we have a check-in and then we kind of go through the agreements together of what actions they're going to be taking, and then I make any tweaks to make sure that they are actually doing enough and they're not doing too much, and that they are actually going to make progress. And then from there, we book in straight away our first training call. Okay, so there's no point in wasting any time getting to the training call. We need to introduce them, give them a bunch of knowledge, give them everything, connect it to their existing problems, and then boom, we need to have the training call. Now, this will be a lot longer than the initial coaching call. Usually this will be like 90 minutes, and sometimes even broken into two. Okay, this is usually like an hour long, sometimes like even 30 minutes, and then this one's maybe like 20 minutes, and then this one we really go in 90 minutes, maybe 2 90 minutes calls to really go over everything, go into the nitty gritty of things. And also, importantly, top tip, record this on Zoom so they can go back over it at any time. Don't make your life harder than it has to be. Now, boom, they have everything they need. Now they need time to take action. Okay, you can't rush these things. Some people will be quicker than others. Some people will put more work in than others. You have to give people time. You have to give people time. So, boom, we give them time to make that transformation. Now, as they're doing that, I'll have ongoing one-to-one chats, check-ins. How's this going? Is this working? Try a bit of this. Do a bit more of this. Let's jump on a quick 5-minute call. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Now it's all working. Awesome. We've refined it. Boom. We've made the transformation 1. Awesome. So this is effective coaching. This is how to be an effective coach. Okay, this is completely different. You have this top-heavy start here where we go over everything that we spoke about up here. Then you need to give them time to actually implement things. This is why you actually get results. It's because of this bit here. Time to implement, refine, and tweak, and check in. Okay? Now this isn't as straightforward as just your weekly 1-hour Zoom, which is why a lot of people will shy away from something like this, because it's going to take more effort and energy, and you're going to have to give more to the people working with you. Okay, which is another point, which is why it's important that you charge high ticket, and it's why my program is a high ticket program, is because the people get a load of attention from me. It's not just an every now and then we have a chat. It's like, it's this whole process here. We really work together. It's not like, oh, here's like a video, go and watch that. It's like, no, we're digging in and we're working together, and then I'm going to be an arsehole to you here if you haven't done what we agreed you were going to do. Okay, and I'm making sure you get that transformation. Boom, we do this whole process. Then what happens? Do the whole thing again. So this whole process here was one growth cycle, and then we do the whole thing again. This is why, so if you're unclear of your offer at the moment, go ahead and watch my other video on how to build an offer, and this will kind of make more sense. But yeah, that has been super valuable, okay? That has been, you will have got some source out of that. So make sure if you are offering a program, that you're implementing that, or if you're teaching or mentoring anyone for anything, follow this, because this is what will actually get people amazing results, okay, in your own program. If you are looking to go from someone who's a professional, you're working hard, you're underpaid, you'd like to have a life of traveling around, working from wherever you want to work, and actually working with people you're interested in working with and giving them a load of value and having a load of impact on their lives and making more money while you do it, then do click the link somewhere below, book in a call with me. We can talk about where you are. We'll need to do an audit of your skills, make sure that you have the right skill sets, that we can implement this for you and make it work. Okay, please make sure you've watched all of my other videos, or as many of my other videos as possible, particularly the one that pops up after this video here. Make sure you're serious, make sure you're ready to roll, make sure you've got the investment ready. It's a multiple 4-figure investment. I'm not here to have a chat on a call, okay, and make a friend and make a pal. If you want to get results, book a call with me, we'll get moving, okay? So I like action takers, I like people who are ready to get rolling and ready to get moving. If that is you, you're ready to take action, you're ready to quit your job, and you want a framework that is actually going to be more fulfilling for you in the long run, and make you a bunch more money than you're making at the moment, and do it from anywhere, then book in, let's have a chat, or drop me a message. If you just have a few questions, drop me a message on Instagram. I'll happily send you a voice note, whatever it is you need. But yeah, go ahead and watch that other video that will appear maybe under here. I hope it appears under here, if not over there somewhere. But yeah, use all of this, get people amazing results, and yeah, create an amazing program that has a huge impact on people's lives. I will see you soon.